absence of appropriations, the White House is involved in an orderly phase-down. All non-essential personnel have been furloughed. No one is here to answer your call.
Dear, my job has officially been shut down. Some people think a shutdown saves money, but the truth, it does the exact opposite. All right, baby.
Enjoy your last day at work.
All right, love you. As y'all know, the government has been shut down. So, let's talk about what a shutdown really is, why it keeps happening, and why it's not just politics, it's people's lives. A shutdown happens when Congress can't agree on funding bills. Without funding, non-essential federal agencies stop operating. This means hundreds of thousands of employees, like me, are either sent home without pay or forced to keep working without a paycheck in sight. So yesterday at work, which they don't always do this, I know like a lot of people say, it self-included, we go through this every year. We go through this every year where they threaten to shut down the government if everybody doesn't do what everybody else wants to do when government's going to be shut down, right? We know this, right, with the budget. The difference is this time, at work yesterday, they actually gave us our plan of instruction. They passed out the phone tree to show who's going to call who. I guess because if the government shuts down, that also means that the government can open again. And so therefore they have to be able to contact the team to let them know when to come into the office, this, that, and the other. They also pointed out who were the people who were going to come in during the shutdown to keep systems up and running, that sort of thing. I'm not one of them, obviously, right? Shutdowns might feel like a yearly threat, but in reality, they've only happened 11 times in U.S. history. 4 lasted less than a day. 4 happened under Democratic presidents, 7 under Republicans, and the last 3 all under Donald J. Trump. These are my last 4 hours. The only thing I really have to do, I do have some things I have to tie up on my system that I was working on that I'm close to ending. So yeah, I'm gonna go to work and work. And I want to go ahead and get my burn bag out of the way because I'm not coming back, right? Unless it opens back up before the 17th of October. And I just have a water bottle that's there that I'm going to bring home. The longest one dragged on for 35 days and cost this country more than $5 billion. To put that in perspective, the 8 shutdowns before Trump's presidency combined cost only $2.7 billion. Shutdowns don't save money, they waste it. Shutdowns aren't a solution. They're a political bully tactic used to strong-arm opponents. And while politicians play games, real people, American families, are left without paychecks, security, or stability. Take the 2018 shutdown. More than 800,000 employees were locked out. The U.S. economy lost an estimated $11 billion. In Washington, D.C. alone, federal workers and contractors lost about $119 million in output per day. GDP dropped $3 billion in 2018 and another $8 billion in early 2019. GDP is the gross domestic product. It is the total market value of all goods and services produced within a country's border. The losses were far greater than what it would have cost to simply keep the government open. And yet, here we are again. This morning I also went ahead and canceled the Factor subscription because if I'm not going to work, we don't need them. The 35-day shutdown was about Mexican border wall funding. This one, Medicaid eligibility for lawful immigrants. Republicans and Trump administration officials are blocking funding unless Democrats roll back their proposal. Democrats want to restore eligibility for groups cut out of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a law passed earlier this year that greatly restricted access. Here's the context. As of June 2025, the U.S. has about 43.6 million lawful immigrants, or 12% of the population. That includes 23.6 million naturalized citizens, such as Elon Musk, Melania Trump, and Wayne Gretzky, 11.9 million green card holders, and 4.1 million visa holders. Not all need aid, just like not all 342 million Americans need aid. But the new law excluded refugees, asylees, and parolees who were granted temporary discretionary permission to enter or remain in the United States for urgent humanitarian reasons. These groups were previously eligible, leaving about 1.4 million people at risk of losing health care. That's less than 0.5% of the population. Democrats want to restore their eligibility. Republicans say no. And instead of compromise, they've chosen another shutdown. And this isn't just politics, it's global perspective. In countries like Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, around 30% of the workforce is employed by governments. In Oman, it's nearly 80%. China employs up to 80 million in government jobs. By comparison, the U.S. government employs about 23 million people across federal, state, and local levels. That's 23 million families directly impacted when shutdowns happen.
All right, y'all. So we have it. Went to work. It's now like 1 o'clock. I left around noon, and the government is shut down. So we were allowed to do like 4 hours, and the rule some of us heard was you couldn't work past noon. Some of us didn't hear that, and so we just kind of. I got there in time so that by noon I was done. That was my 4 hours, and so now. On my way home. Yeah, it was very uneventful, very quiet. For some reason, we were at work as if it was business as usual, meaning we still had our meetings, we still had our scrum meetings, and we still talked about things as if we're going to be there tomorrow to work on them. It was very uneventful. As people were leaving, of course, everybody went around saying bye, not knowing if it's going to be our last time seeing each other, due to not just the government shutdown, but the fact that the majority of our team, our last day is October 17th. So that was the thing, too. So it was just like, okay. But that's what it was. Not only is the government shut down, but before the government shut down, 70% of our team was told that October 17th would be our last day. They told us this on September 17th. So they gave us a month's notice, which was very generous. So a lot of us, we factored into our plans the paychecks that we would have going through to October 17th. So with the government shutting down today's October 1st, so technically last night, but we got to go in today for 4 hours. This gives us about 2.5 weeks that we don't have. And I'm going with worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that the government opens back up after we're gone, after October 17th. That's the worst case. So that's a good 2.5 weeks of pay that we don't get to have, right? Best case scenario, it opens back up by Monday. On Monday, we're back at work. That's the best case scenario, because then that's just a few days of pay that we miss out on, right? But we still have a good 2 weeks left that we get to go to work. And a lot of us, the majority of us, have not found other positions to go to. So, like I said, especially with people who have family, people who have bills, people who are not as financially prepared as I am, that money is something that they rely on, that they're relying on.
So when I say my job and the jobs of hundreds of thousands like me have been shut down, it's not just a headline. It's bills piling up, it's worry, it's stress, it's uncertainty. It's wondering how to plan for the future when your paycheck depends on political gains. People say, shut it down, save us money. But the truth is, shutdowns don't save a dime. They bleed us dry, not just financially, but emotionally too. And this is a letter to you, the ignorant.